Good evening. What a great turnout. I'm glad to see so many of our students, faculty, staff. I think some community members here as well. Thank you for joining us for tonight's media and politics debate, which is titled How the Media Can Sway Votes and Win Elections. My name is Don Christian, and as president of City New Paltz, it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here for this evening's event. We're pleased to welcome our two speakers, Steve Rendell and Cliff Kincaid, sitting here in the front, and all the members of our community. Thank you for being here. We're pleased that Mr. Rendell and Mr. Kincaid are here to share their insight and perspective and to inform this evening's timely discussion of these issues just ahead of Election Day.
I'm going to start out by telling you a little bit more about who I am so you know my bias. My first brush with journalism was in 7th grade in 1967. In 2012, during the campaign, when poverty reached historic highs, it was higher than it had been in 30 or 40 years, we decided to see how the media did at raising the issue of poverty. And an important issue, you'd think that they would raise it with the candidates. And we found that almost never mentioned. It was virtually non-existent in media coverage of the 2012 election. Climate change was never mentioned, not once, in any of the debates. It was, no question was asked about it. This is a profound failure of our national media. Fact two, Donald Trump has received more than $2 billion in free media during this campaign. That is, he's received media coverage that if he had had to pay for it as political commercials, he would have had to shell out over $2 billion. The third point, this is a quote from CBS News President Les Moonves about the campaign and about Donald Trump. He said this during the primary. It may not be good for America, but it's damn good for CBS. Man, who would have expected the ride we're all having right now? The money's rolling in and this is fun. This is going to be a very good year for us. Bring it on, Donald Trump. Keep going. Donald's place in this election is a good thing. Now, I think that illustrates what CBS is in the business for. Fact four, during the primaries, there were two outsider candidates that emerged. You all know, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. They both stirred incredible energy, a lot of excitement. The relative coverage of each is very interesting though. To take one typical media outlet, the evening news on ABC is called World News, ABC World News. During the first 11 months of the primaries, going into the convention, Donald Trump received 81 minutes of coverage on ABC World News. Bernie Sanders received 20 seconds. That's 81 minutes to 20 seconds. That's a 243-to-1 ratio. You couldn't miss Trump. If you left the room to get a beer or to go to the restroom, you may not even know that Bernie Sanders was running. You may have never heard his name if ABC was your outlet. Repeatedly over the last 15 months or so, when Trump stepped up to any podium, CNN and MSNBC called it breaking news, and they rushed to put a camera in front of him. They'd cut away from regular programming to give him 8, 10, 12 minutes of free airtime. No one else received that privilege. When Trump couldn't get to a camera, and a camera couldn't get to him, he simply phoned national television shows. They'd slap a picture of him in the lower third, and they'd put him on the show anytime he wanted. On the 5 Sunday political shows, Trump had done, 6 months in, he had done 29 phone interviews. How many phoners have the other presidential candidates been afforded? 0.
Thank you, President Christian. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, students. Thanks for picking up all these copies of my new book. I hope you're not going to throw them into a bonfire after this debate. You pack bias and unreliable sources into one package and you get bad journalism. And Steve Rendell made reference to this. Chomsky's claim that only about 6 or maybe 8 corporations own and control 90% of the major media in the United States. It's true, except for the fact that our group, AIM, and my group, America Survival, have taken advantage of the internet revolution that has affected journalism. And now we have apps, we have Roku, we have YouTube TV channels, and it's very difficult to gauge and measure the impact of these alternative sources of information. I thought when I went into journalism it was going to be who, what, when, where, why, and how. Instead it became who, what, when, where, why, how, and so what. Meaning that the bias of the reporter, of the journalist, enters in to what's reported as, quote, fact. And since you have mainly in journalism liberals and left-wingers who go into that profession and more conservative-oriented students go into other fields like science, engineering, and so forth, and accounting, you get a bias.
Thank you so much to our speakers for the vibrant discussion.